Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the famous 5 Suite at Easter Road Stadium. Please welcome to the stage your host for the Hibee Buzz Live this evening, Gavin Ritu.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the 4th and final Hibee Buzz Live. Thank you, everybody, for joining us here tonight. It's great to see so many kind of familiar faces. If you've been to one of these events before, can you please make yourself known by way of applause? Okay, nice one. And if this is your first time here tonight, then make some noise. Okay, nice one. Well, it's sold out tonight, so thank you to everyone for coming along and supporting the event. Enough from me. It is time to welcome our first guest of the evening. Now, our first guest, he's only been at Hibs for about 9 months or so, but he's already written his name into Hibs history and, of course, Edinburgh Derby history, scoring that iconic winning goal here at Easter Road last month. He's been a rock at the back ever since he came into the team, and he's played a key role in our current unbeaten run. Please welcome on the stage, Jack Iredale, everyone. Jack, many thanks for joining us. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
Good stuff. I mean, what a first season it's been for you. How have you found it?
So far, so good. Obviously, moving the camp's really good at the minute. Results are good, so hopefully we can just keep this going.
In terms of your time here, it's kind of been interesting because you had to bide your time, particularly at the start of the season, almost watching on from the sidelines before you got your chance. How was that for you before you came into the team?
To be fair, I was enjoying the process. I knew what was going to happen. Obviously, I came in, I had a little bit of an injury at the start. And the gaffer had spoke to me and he said, just be patient, stay with it. And when it's my turn to get a chance, make sure I keep the shirt. So hopefully that's what I've been doing and I'm enjoying playing. Yeah,
I mean, you certainly have done that. In terms of the upturn in our form, it very much kind of coincides with you coming into the team. 22 starts, 14 wins, 6 draws, and only 2 defeats when you've been in the team. Pretty good going?
Yeah, it's not bad, isn't it? It's a good return.
Would you say that's solely down to that, or is it mainly the change in moving to a back three, or how have you seen it?
Yeah, there's been so many different factors playing into it. I think the change in shape helped massively. I don't think we were very far away from good results at the time. I thought we were playing well. It was just silly mistakes, but just all seemed to have fell into place. I think we're playing a formation that plays to everybody's strengths, and I think you're seeing the fruits of it.
What off the pitch then? What's it been like? How have you found the city? What's the changing room like? How have you found the whole experience?
Yeah, I loved it. Obviously, the Aussie group in there helped me settle in pretty quickly. Even though Boyle calls himself Aussie. The other 2 familiar accents have helped, and then my missus is from Scotland as well. So it's just worked on so many levels for reasons for me to come back up north, and I'm really happy to be at Hibs. Yeah,
definitely. And we're really grateful to have you here as well. In terms of the run of games in the team, you must be kind of delighted with some of the progress that you've made. Particularly, I know you mentioned in a few kind of previous interviews that you didn't have the easiest start growing up in terms of some of the injuries that you had. Can you just tell us a little bit about that, particularly in kind of your early years?
So I had a bit of a slow start to my career. Before I even got the chance to turn pro, I tore my ACL 3 times, so I had 3 knee reconstructions at the age of 16, 17, and 19, and then sort of had to come across the other side of the world to try and chase that first pro contract. So it was a bit of a slow start, but managed to get my foot in the door at Morton, which is ironically where I was born. Actually, I was born in Greenock, so I'm about as Australian as Boyle is, to be fair.
There you are up there.
But since then, touch wood, I've just been managing to put all the games together and had a bit of a journey.
How did you find kind of like the setback and the recovery process? I mean, doing your knee kind of 3 times as a teenager must have been really difficult.
It was really, really tough. The first question I always asked the surgeon was, can I play football again? And then when obviously I did my third one. I thought that's me finished. And at the time I was studying at uni thinking this might not work out. But the surgeon actually said they've had some breakthrough sort of research with a new kind of knee reconstruction where they've got an extra kind of ligament which they can fix as well. And what he said to me was they'd just done it on Clarence Seedorf and it worked for him. So I thought if it works for him, then
it works for
surely
you.
it could work for me. So since then, been all good.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll touch upon a bit about your journey a bit later on. But you're here now, and we'll get to that iconic goal a little later on as well. But for now, Jack Iredale, everyone. Okay, right, our next guest is a popular figure with supporters. He's played over 100 times for the club, helping the club win promotion back to the top flight in 2017. And of course, he played his part in the legendary 2016 Scottish Cup winning team. Please welcome onto stage Dylan McGeouch. Did you hear your walk-on song there?
Yes, don't mind it.
More on that a little bit later on, okay? How are you anyway? How does it feel to be back at Easter Road?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Just getting back fit. I had a kind of operation just before Christmas, so I'll get myself back fit. But yeah, it's great to be back. Got to training today, spent the day in the city and stuff, and as soon as you come near the stadium and that brings back good memories. So yeah, it's good to be back. Yeah,
you've been back in a few different guises over the years since you left the club. Is it always kind of positive memories that it brings back when you come here?
Yeah, definitely. I think I've not got any really negatives about this place. The whole time I spent here, it was a good period for us. It was a good bunch in the dressing room, and the fans really connected with us, and the manager and stuff, and we achieved some great things. So yeah, everything about the place is positive for me, and when I speak to some of the fans and stuff, they've all got great memories of that kind of time period here.
In terms of your career and where it's kind of taken you then, you've been at various clubs over the years, but you made quite significantly more appearances here at Hibs. What was it about Hibs that you enjoyed so much, or why did you kind of feel, do you think you played your best football here?
Yeah, I think obviously I was younger at Celtic and stuff, and then I think Hibs gave me the first chance to kind of go play week in, week out, first team football, whereas before I was always kind of on the bench, getting 10, 15 minutes here and there. So Big Stubbsy signed me. I spoke to him the day I signed about the squad and stuff like that, and where we're going, because obviously the club just went into the championship, and he was honest with me, to be honest. He said we've got about 8 players as it stands, but we're looking to build, and I want you to be a big part of it. So as long as you're fit, you'll play, kind of thing. So that's all I kind of had to hear, and sure enough, when I was fit, I played, and we done well as a club, and obviously got promoted and went and achieved some good things. So yeah, it was the first kind of taste of that love from the fans, that were playing week in, week out, and fighting for something at the weekend. So I owe a lot to this club for that.
What was it like when you kind of had those conversations with Stubbsy and he said, "Oh, we've only got 8 players or so"? Were you a bit like, well, what's going on here, or did it kind of excite you?
Yeah, I think, well, looking back now, I should have probably been a lot more sceptical, to be honest. But I think I was younger, and just hearing, obviously, I grew up a Celtic fan, and Alan Stubbs was a big player for us, and he's now the manager and stuff like that, and he wants to sign me, and having these conversations and saying I'm going to be a big part for him. It's everything I wanted to hear, really, and I came to come get regular football. It was just on loan at the start, so it ticked all the boxes for me. And to be fair, soon after that we started bringing in your John McGinns and Martin Boyles and boys like that, and we had a great squad, and again we went and achieved some great things.
You mentioned when you did first join, then you'd have joined at the same time as the gaffer at the moment, and Liam Craig as well. When you look at the team now, led by these guys, how happy are you to see them doing well?
Oh, it's brilliant. I think I said this in a podcast a few weeks ago, but it's great to see, and I was delighted when they backed Dave, because obviously there's been a lot of change over the last 5-6 years or whatever it's been, and they stuck by him, and now we're reaping the rewards from that. The club looks like it's turned a corner. performances on the pitch, the fans getting behind everyone, and it's very similar to the period which I had here when there was a real connect with the supporters and the group of players and the manager, and everybody's all backing them, and you can see that in performances now. I think maybe 15, 16 games now unbeaten in the league, so it's phenomenal, and long may it continue. He's done a great job, and if there was ever going to be a man to kind of turn it round and be at the top of the table, then who better to have Dave there?
Yeah, definitely. Very well said. We'll be taking a trip down your memory lane here at Hibs in a little bit. But for now, Dylan McGeouch, everybody. Okay, time to welcome our final guest on stage for the night, and he needs very little introduction. Since joining in 2015, he's gone on to play over 350 games for the club. And in that time, well, he's had some truly iconic moments, the last of which just came a few days ago at Ibrox. He's a modern-day Hibs legend. He's our star man. Please welcome onto stage Martin Boyle. Boyle, thanks for joining us. I can see you're shaky over there. How are you?
I'm very well. Need a pint to get through this, I think. Yeah, very well.
Good stuff.
Had a good week.
Well, we've got plenty to get through with you. But let's talk about Saturday, shall we? What a day that was at Ibrox.
Oh, amazing. Not many times we've went there and got a result like that. Fantastic. Support was brilliant. And yeah, obviously delighted to get a goal. First time scoring there. And obviously, as you can see there, getting it right up them.
Well, that's going to probably be a flavour for tonight. See, going into that game, and maybe this is for you as well, Jack, did you kind of, given the way that we've been going, 15 unbeaten before, did you have a feeling that we could get something?
All the boys were fully confident, to be fair. I think especially with the form that they had been in compared to the form that we had been in, we weren't fearing anyone, and I think you saw that from the performance. We started off very confidently in the first 10 minutes, and then when Dill scored that worldie, thanks to old mate in the goal, then we were set from there, and he was causing carnage up top, and Big Rocky was causing carnage at the back, so we knew it was going to be a good day, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Boyle, what a roller coaster season it's been. For you personally, 16 goals, 9 assists. I think it's the best return in terms of goals and assists in one season that you've had at Hibs. How have you found it all?
Quite astonished it's still the same season, to be honest. It's been a mad season. It's really turned around for us, which is brilliant. Obviously the goals are nice, but as long as we're winning games, then I'm equally as happy. So hopefully I can keep this form going and have a right good say in the last final push of the season.
What's it been like for you in terms of, when you look at it in terms of the full season? Because there was times this season where you were found yourself on the bench, and then to do the numbers that you're doing now is quite astonishing.
Oh yeah, I was honking. I was stinking the gaff out, was I? Don't worry, I got told that. But it's always nice to prove people wrong. I've always tried to do that in my career. So I do still have legs in me, don't worry. Obviously, a new position that I'm playing, it kind of suits me. I get kind of a free role where I can roam about and, like you say, cause havoc, which is perfect for me. And like you say, I've always got a knack for scoring goals, and thankfully this season I've scored quite a few important ones.
Yeah, for sure. And just on tonight then, how does it feel to be sat beside your former teammate in Dylan McGeouch as well?
It's really good. Good to see him. He's looking class. He's joined me with the old hair transplant, is he? Unreal, man.
Well, you can see on the screen there. There's a photo there. Get off. Definitely had a wee glow up there. Did you enjoy playing together? I think you played 85 times in total. Did you guys enjoy playing with each other?
Yeah, I definitely did. Don't know if Martin enjoyed playing with me, but yeah, obviously as a midfielder, likes to get on the ball and stuff, play forward. Then Martin's great for that. Do you know what I mean? He's always making runs and, as he says, causing havoc for the back line. and it makes it easy for us as midfielders. Obviously, you put in the right place, you know he's going to be there, and 9 times out of 10 it's in the back of the net. So, yeah, it was great to play along somebody like Martin. Yeah.
Boyle, any games in particular that stood out, or performances from Dylan that stood out?
I still remember his Messi goal against Aberdeen in the semi-final. That was a wonder goal, to be fair. Unfortunately, we got beat with that deflection, but it was still good times and memories of him. Just, I think, all in all, his retention of the ball and the way he used the ball, it looked so nice. And you know, I'm obviously jealous I can't do that because I run a bit. But obviously, the midfield that we had at the time, it was perfect. And yeah, he was some player.
This is almost as if you read the script there with that goal just coming up there. Dylan, is this probably your best goal for Hibs, would you say?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I think I scored one in the championship out here, something similar, like kind of running with the ball forward, which I didn't do very often. I was always kind of trying to get on it and link it with the kind of midfield and the strikers, but I think played a couple of 1-2s and scored. But yeah, obviously that was a big goal for us, getting us back in the game at 2 each, and as Martin said, a goal that kind of put us out the cup at that point. But yeah, again, we went toe-to-toe with anybody we played against. Celtic, Rangers, Aberdeen, no matter where we were, we went toe-to-toe, and I think the fans appreciated that as well. Yeah,
definitely. Well, there's a flavour of what's to come in some of the goals and photos there. But for now, give it up for Martin Boyle, everybody. Okay, as we were saying, plenty to get through tonight. It's great to have all three of you on stage, but it's time to get started with our first section, which is called Fact Check. So this is where the kind of cue cards and stuff that you've got on your seats will come into play. So for those of you that haven't been here before, what's going to happen is I'm going to read out a fact, and it's going to be our statement. It's going to be about one of the three guests on stage. So if you think the statement relates to Martin Boyle, you hold up the Martin Boyle card. If you think it relates to Jack, you hold up the Jack Iredale card. If you think it relates to Dylan, you hold up Dylan's card. Does that all make sense? Does that make sense to you guys? Yes. Yes. Have we got? You guys don't have cards. You guys are providing the answers. We know the answer. Yeah.
Didn't want one anyway.
Okay, right. First one is, I signed for Hibs on deadline day, but I was too ill to do the Hibs TV interview. So who was too ill when they signed? Okay, it looks to be pretty unanimous. There's a few Martin Boyles in there and the odd Dylan McGeouch, but most of them are saying Jack Iredale. Who was this? It was, in fact, Jack Iredale. Jack, can you tell us a story of your deadline day move?
Long story short, I had food poisoning in every single service on the M6 on the way up.
So what happened? Did you get the call at night on deadline day?
I was at home on the couch in my boxes at 6:30 at night, and my agent called me and said, "How much diesel have you got in the car?" And I said, "I've got enough. Why?" And he said, "You need to get to Edinburgh now." And I was like, "Right, sweet." Jumped in the car, and about an hour up the road, I started to feel a bit funny, and I was like, "For sake." So I pulled over into the first services, and everything came out, both ends, everything. And I was like, Jesus Christ. Walked into the WH Smith, got some chewing gum and like some wipes, like wipe my forehead. I was honestly, but I had to get up here. And then, honestly, about 45 minutes later, I started to feel like it again, and I'm calling my agent. I'm like, I can't get there. Like, I'm not going to make it. And he's like, just keep driving. He didn't believe me. He said, just keep driving, you'll be all right. Genuinely, 4 or 5 times I stopped up the road. I signed my contract in a truck stop about half an hour away from Tranent. And I walked in, and Malky and the gaffer looked at me and just thought, what the have we signed here? Honestly. Every services on the M6 got it, but I got here and I signed my deal, and then I just went back to this apartment that the club gave me, and I came back about 3 days later ready to go. So.
Yeah. I mean, that's the photo that we got of
Look at the state of me there, honestly.
I think we've actually done a good job editing that, because you did, I remember seeing you, and you did look a wee bit worse for wears, I'm not going to lie.
A wee bit.
Yeah. You were very pale, but we put a bit of tan on you there.
Thanks, mate. Done me wonders there, cheers.
Never edited those years though.
Boyle, in terms of your first few days at Hibs, you joined initially on loan from Dundee. What were your first memories?
Oh. That can't be me, is it? It was quite eventful. Got told to show up at 9 o'clock and the lads weren't training until 2 o'clock, so I had to wait around. It was class. So I thought they were pulling my pants down and having me off. And then, obviously, I'd played in the Dundee Derby the day before and got scudded 6-2. Already knowing that I was signing for Hibs. And then 2 days later, played in the Derby after New Year. So it was quite eventful. We drew 1-1. So, yeah, 2 derbies in the space of 3 days was quite eventful. But like you say, looking back now, it was a long time ago, but I've enjoyed every minute of it.
Yeah. Dylan, do you remember Boiler coming in and what his first few days were like?
I don't remember like his first day and stuff, but I do remember there was a character just arrived, especially when there was alcohol involved. Yeah, not. Yeah, I don't remember one moment, but yeah, definitely there was a few kind of nights out or days out and stuff like that. I remember when Boiler was in full flow. Yeah. A few stories, yeah.
In terms of your move to Hibs, you kind of touched upon it a bit briefly, but initially on loan from Celtic, which was then made permanent. Aside from the conversation with the gaffer that was, oh, we've got 8 players, what were your first kind of like first impressions of the club?
Yeah, it was great. As I said before, like I was just excited to get going and get playing week in, week out, and obviously the manager was building a squad and stuff. And I speak about this all the time. It was the best changing room that I've been involved in football. From day one, you could just tell some good characters, a few older lads like Dave and that at the time, and obviously a lot of youth like myself and John and Scott Allen eventually and Martin and stuff like that coming in. So there was a good mix there. We done things properly. And kind of didn't take ourselves too seriously. We had a laugh every day with Tam and Joyce and wee Gav and stuff like that. And it was a great environment. And obviously when you're doing well and the fans are behind you and stuff like that, and we were all kind of based in Edinburgh and we were going out Saturday nights together and just great times. But a right good bunch, which makes it a lot easier. Yeah,
definitely. Okay, nice one. Right, that was the first fact of the evening. Moving on to our second one. Our guests have scored a combination of 100 goals for Hibs between them. Who has scored the most? This is an easy confidence boost for everybody. Everybody is saying Martin Boyle. It is, of course, Martin Boyle. Dylan, we talked over a year ago with Aberdeen. I think it was 4 goals you scored for Hibs. Jack, we've got a whole segment on your goals, so just be patient. We are going to get to that. But Boiler, 95 goals for Hibs, 5 off 100. Did you ever think that you would make it near those numbers?
Nah, not really. I probably should have surpassed that by now, the amount of chances that I've squandered, which is a bit annoying. I think it's only annoying now because I'm so close to getting 100, so it's kind of eating away at me. But obviously it's a great feeling. I don't normally set myself targets for seasons and stuff like that, but obviously it is a milestone that I would like to achieve, so hopefully, fingers crossed, I can do it this season.
Has it been on your mind this season then that the 100 is obviously like on the horizon? I think you were on probably like 84, 85 at the start of the season, or?
It wasn't at the start, but it certainly is now. I think just because a lot of people talk about it and the achievement that it could be, and obviously my dad and that bring it up, and my kids are excited and stuff like that, so they've probably all jinxed me and I'm going to have a holder to end the season. But like I say, it'll be a nice feeling, but I'll be happy as long as we win every game to end the season and I don't score, so.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing a few of the goals up on screen at the moment, but your first goal came against Wraith in January 2015. Your last one currently was obviously at the weekend at Ibrox. In between all them, could you pick a favourite goal or a top 3 anyway?
My number one would probably be a goal I scored against Livy. I put that. Hey, Jack, that's better than yours.
This is the volley from outside the box, is that right?
Yeah, I mean, that's 1 in 1,000. I don't think I'll ever do that again. Fastest guy is always at the edge of the box. Yeah, I'll probably never score a goal like that in my career ever again, so it's also quite annoying that I've wasted it against Livy on Tuesday night. See, if I'd done that in Sky, honestly, there's only one camera angle.
Yeah.
Cliff screaming at the goal, but second one, maybe the second one in the semi-final against Rangers. Probably the one that Nezzy put me through. That was obviously a nice feeling. And probably the third one's a penalty when I scored against Alan McGeouch, just because I've got a pet peeve. And, so obviously it was always nice to do that.
I mean, there's plenty to choose from. We saw the Rangers ones up there, but you could have had the double at Tynecastle as well. There's the first goal back from when you went away and scored that one here at Easter Road. There's the Rangers hat-trick.
Actually forgot about them. You put me on the spotlight there, but yeah, look, they could all go in there. It was great memories to have. Obviously, the special feeling coming back and scoring in the 90th minute was a lovely one. Obviously, the standing ovation I got at the start of the game, obviously accepting me and my family back, it was obviously a nice moment. But same time, it would have been better to go on and get the result with a win. But yeah, lovely feeling, and obviously scoring against Hearts is probably up there with the best feelings that I've had.
So 95 goals, and within that, plenty of iconic celebrations as well. Which one's your favourite?
All right, we'll go that one. Probably Saturday, obviously, because when the goal went in, it went to VAR, so it was kind of like, didn't know what was happening.
Yeah.
And then they were all like cheating and stuff when it was obviously ruled offside. So
there's this one as well. Was this one in Lockdowns against St Johnstone, the penalty?
I nearly shanked that as well, but look, thankfully it went in. To be fair, Karma got me because I missed a pen in the derby and he saved it, so Karma got me big time for that. But obviously I don't plan these celebrations, apart from that one, because some guy slaughtered me on Twitter. But he had that one coming. But yeah, honestly, I don't plan these. They're just spontaneous. I really probably need to stop it because I just look like I'd have to do.
This is maybe my favourite one, just because it's not even you scoring, but you could just see the camera kind of pan to you.
I think I got tagged to that straight after that. I think all the lads were laughing. I just spawned. I don't know why I was there. It's because I couldn't stop running. So obviously somebody's caught me in the crowd and I just thought I'd stick in my tag.
So you're saying you don't plan any other celebration apart from the Aberdeen one? Is that right?
Yeah, no, they're just spontaneous.
And the Aberdeen one was because
someone said that was a diving. So I told them I'd bring my best bikini and quoted it. So obviously I thought I had to do a little diving celebration.
Yeah, and with just on the Xander Clark one, was that the water bottle? What was the story behind that? Was it because he was trying to put
he
you
was
off?
just taking longer than expected. He was just doing what goalies do, try to put you off. And obviously he was just standing at the side of the goal drinking his water. So I thought, this is went in, I'll just grab it.
I want a bit of that.
And I missed my mouth every time I squeezed the bottle. It was quite embarrassing, but it's good memories to look back on. But.
Yeah, definitely. Well, fingers crossed that you can make it to 100 as soon as possible. Okay, nice one. Next one is a little bit more obscure. I famously DJed at a WWE wrestling match. Okay, what are we saying? There's a few Boyle. There's a lot of Dylan McGeouch. There's a couple of Jack Iredale. Jack, I know you like your wrestling. Do we know on stage who this is?
Not me.
I wish it was me, but
Dylan?
Yeah. That was me.
Okay, right. Well, I think it's one of these ones where if you know, you know. But if you look closely at the video, pay attention to the start and you'll notice DJ Dylan McGeouch right at the start. I mean, how did that even come about?
Oh, honestly, man, that's amazing. I love it. No, it was a running joke between me and Jason, so nobody else really knew who Grado was at this point. But we watched some of his videos, and that was obviously his walkout song, so we used to put it on the gym and all that, and I can't even take him serious. Look at this. How are we winning games at this point? I don't know. Lenny's in the background cheering them on as well.
Yeah, you can see what he's doing that. You're kind of halfway through there. What are you saying?
So it was me and Jason that kind of knew the background ground by Grado and stuff like that. So this day, I remember I was inside. I must have been nursing a little niggle or something, and Jason, funny enough, didn't train that day with a sore back. So that's what makes it even better. This so me and him were in the gym, and then someone came in and was like, "Oh, the guy Grado's outside taking penalties and stuff for the lads. Like he's doing like a kind of video thing with the boys." So we're like, "Oh, no way! Like we've missed it and stuff like that." So obviously once he's come in, we've been chatting about it. We're like, "We'll get you dressed up. Once he's having lunch, we'll go in and have a wrestle with him." So we walk in, and obviously all the boys and that are all having a laugh, and the manager and stuff, and then 2 minutes later, Jason's literally, he's probably about 18 stone or something, like Jason's got him between his legs, lifting him up, like missed training for a bad back, and he's doing suplexes off the top of tables and stuff, so, but that was Jason, he was bonkers, wasn't he? But yeah, again, I know we're having a laugh and stuff, but that just summed up the whole dressing room, and the vibe between us all.
Boyle, do you remember that day? Are you in that video?
I am in that video, yeah.
What was your role?
I honestly forgot about that video. See, I've been here that long. See half the stuff that pops up and you just laugh about it. It's amazing. Exactly what Dylan said. He's just, to be fair, you could, even when we're losing games, he's just a character and come in the Monday and act like nothing happened. Top guy. I think he's taken a bit of a battering over the years, you know. Unless you share the dressing room and know what he's really like, then he can be misunderstood. But honestly, every week it was a joy to come to play with him. And to be fair, his goal spoke for himself at the club.
Mm-hmm. Can you see a similarity then? We kind of touched upon it a wee bit tonight already, but like the connection between a happy dressing room and a dressing room where everyone's kind of getting on and a winning team on the pitch, because I think when that video was, or certainly when in 2018 we went on a long unbeaten run, I think it was 12 games or so, and it kind of coincides with what's going on at the moment, 16 games unbeaten, and it seems to be a really happy dressing room at the moment. Yeah, probably, but you'll not get videos like these days. The game's gone, to be honest, it is. So everything's got to be done under wraps. Probably half goes on our dressing room, would never come out. But no, it was a lot of stuff. Like you say, everyone was involved there, as you can see, and probably the way we're showing it just now, instead of all these daft videos and stuff like that, we're showing it on the pitch, and the togetherness that we've had and all the celebrations we've had, the sunshine and leaf, back to back and stuff like that, so it's brilliant. But like you say, the game's gone a bit soft now, you got to watch what you're doing. Who's the Jason Cummings of the current team?
He's on the stage now, and it's not me.
It's not me.
Okay, very good. Right, okay, moving on. Number 4, fourth fact of the evening, is who has got the best record in the Edinburgh Derby? Okay, so this is win ratio. Who's got, not necessarily the most wins, but who's got the best record in the Edinburgh Derby? Okay, we've got predominantly Jack Iredale, but there's a few Boyleys, there's a couple of Dylan McGeouchs as well. Okay, right. Most people go with Jack Iredale. Dylan, I'll start with you. Played in 9 Edinburgh Derbies, 3 wins, 3 draws, 3 defeats. What were your best memories from the Derby?
I think the whole occasion. I think the championship year was a good season when obviously we had us and Hearts and Rangers in the same league. I think it was brilliant. All pushing for it. Getting to semi-finals, finals and stuff like that. But yeah, they were great games. You knew what it meant about the place for the week leading up and the week after. Like everyone buzzing about, talking about the derby and stuff like that. And yeah, we had a couple of defeats and a couple of draws, but again, we were in every game to the end, and I can't really remember any kind of standout. I think maybe
the natural order one here.
Yeah, I think the natural order one. I think that's probably going to tie in with what I was going to say. So I think that was the night Alex McLeish came to watch the game, and I think it was me and John McGinn, like it was getting spoke about for like call-ups and stuff like that at that point. So I think it was like a Wednesday night maybe. We won the game, we played well, and then off the back of that, me and John got called up a day or two after. So that always kind of sticks on that period, that game, and obviously the natural order stuff like that, with the comments from the manager as well.
Yeah, and did that kind of give you guys an incentive? Was that was Lenny at the time, wasn't it? Did he mention that in like a pre-match team talk or?
Yeah, Lenny was good at that. He was a motivator. He'd done that quite a lot. To be fair, he'd done it up at Aberdeen one day, and we were 3-0 down at half time. So it didn't always work. You remember that one? That was chaos. Yeah.
I feel you need to expand on this one.
There was a few things said that you couldn't repeat, but he wasn't happy. I think McInnes was playing a few mind games before, like up when we arrived at the stadium and stuff. He put a few things on your dressing room wall and stuff like that, which Lenny wasn't happy about, as you could imagine. But yeah, he was good at the motivational stuff before the games, and if anyone gave him ammunition to use, he used it well. And I can't remember exactly, but if that was the game, then he would have definitely used that to advantage. And I think probably you've seen that on the pitch, the way we responded to it.
Aye, definitely. Boiler, do you know your Derby record?
50-50 maybe?
So played 21, 8 wins, 8 draws, 5 defeats.
That's all right, eh?
Aye, that's decent.
I'll take that, eh?
Which Edinburgh Derby stand out specifically for you?
Probably the one I never played in, the one Paul Hanlon scored the equaliser. I remember I was on the bench and I'd done the exact same as that celebration I did before, and I was in with the fans. Absolutely brilliant. And then obviously the one after where we beat them, we progressed in the cup. Got 2 minutes in that game.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you say, they're the best ever. Leading up, the expectations, the fan, the buzz, the awareness of it all, and obviously walking out, there's no better feeling at a home game. It's absolutely superb, and obviously being on the winning side is perfect.
What is so special about the fixture? Because like you mentioned, you played in the Dundee Derby as well. What's so special about the Edinburgh Derby?
Just, I think the passion. Obviously playing in a few Dundee derbies probably wasn't as good because I don't think I won one. So I think obviously when I switched over, I think just the more passion into it, the more people care, and just the eruptions of the fans, it's brilliant. And like you say, it's a wonderful feeling to obviously win it, and thankfully I've been on a few. I think I've scored in one. Like you say, you always, I think when people sign for the club, it's the first question they ask is what the Edinburgh Derby like, and it's amazing. It's always the one you look for in the calendar. So yeah, obviously, like you say, it's probably one of those games where you have to either be at or experience to play, and that you'll really get what we mean.
Yeah, definitely. And two fairly decent records in the Edinburgh Derby there, but none top Jack Iredale. Played 2, won 2. And before we even talk about that, should we just give ourselves a reminder of what happened last time? I feel you'd want to watch the go back again.
He's got
I've
time.
not really watched it much, so I may as well put it on
He
again.
does. Hearts will get it clear.
Hit it.
Chance here for Iredale.
Oh, what a finish! Jack Iredale with a left foot! Wow!
I still don't understand. I mean, there's no backlift. It's just straight. There's no fluff. There's nothing.
Out of nowhere.
See, the bad thing is, I always say to the boys, don't peek on him. The day before a game, don't peek.
Left-footed, fires it
There's been many people who have scored
into the
10 goals in training
corner.
before
And in
games.
the 73rd
And
minute,
he
Hibs lead
was
by
about
2
to do that in
goals to
training,
1.
and he backed out of it and passed it 5 yards. And he turned around and said, don't peek before a match day. And he's done that.
A finish
So it works.
That is.
I mean,
Honestly, in his wildest dreams, he couldn't have
it
pressed
doesn't.
that.
Surely you don't get tired of watching that go back.
I've watched that so many times. Honestly.
How would you describe the? Well, actually, maybe just give us the 20 seconds of when you see the ball kind of ricocheting out. What's going through your head to when you hit it to then the sheer euphoria after it?
Well, I remember Nicky being on the ball, and normally when we're attacking, we've got quite a few consecutive waves of attack. So our job at the back is to make sure that we find their strikers to make sure they don't have an easy out. So I knew I was near Shanklin, and I thought if it comes out, I'll be able to get tight. And it popped out, and I reacted first, and then took the touch. I was just trying to control the ball because it came out of a bit of a weird ankle, and I took the touch with my studs, and it bounced up. And when it sits like that, you know, like any of you two, that when the ball sits like that, you just think, why not? And then, what's the worst that could? I'm a centre half. What's the worst that could happen here? And then that happened, and that celebration, I think Stuart's in the room somewhere. He's been painting my gaff. I'm trying to get him to paint that on my wall somewhere in the house, but Mrs. isn't letting me, so I might just put it in a picture frame. I remember lying in bed the night before thinking, I'm going to score at that end, and I'm going to stand on that board and give it that one. But I thought it was just going to be like a little header or something like that off the corner. So,
So you're saying you thought you were going to score?
the night before, I was lying in bed thinking, I'm going to score a goal at that end and celebrate like that. And then I remember shooting, and it just went slow motion. It was sort of outside the post and then just dipped back in at the end. Mm-hmm. And I didn't really know what to do with myself. I just sort of started running and hoped someone would stop me. And eventually I ran into him. I nearly launched him about 15 yards and then stood on the board. And yeah, that picture there. So that was...
I mean, it looks like you're kind of in just like pure shock.
Yeah, that was the longest 15 minutes of my life afterwards. I was thinking, please just let me be the winner here. I think Rocky had a header about 5 minutes to go and I was buzzing he didn't score because...
I mean, it literally is the stuff of dreams. It was a winning goal in the Edinburgh Derby, assist for Boyley's goal as well.
It wasn't meant for him, but it got there. So.
But no man of the match, though.
I'm still spewing about that. I don't know who picked it, but the fact that Nectar got it that day, miles off it.
I think he's in the room. There's one of the commercial guys at the back of the room.
If he pays a lot of money, it's all right. He can have that. Fair enough.
I mean, in that photo there, you look shocked that you scored that goal, but I mean, the goal won our Deschamps goal of the season, goal of the month. Sorry, it won the SPFL goal of the month. It could easily get nominated for goal of the season, but you've had goal of the season contenders before. Is that right?
Yeah, I scored. That was my championship debut for Morton there. That was when I was rapid. Left back.
How fast are you?
I have to stay at the back and clean up after him causing carnage up top.
So that was your championship debut, and did you win goal of the season? No, or was it no?
Nah, I think Kieran Tierney scored from about 45 yards that season in the top corner, so I'll let him have that one.
Oh, well, fingers crossed that this one can win goal of the season. Okay, right. Well, well done. Best record in the Edinburgh Derby is, of course, Jack Iredale. Okay, nice one. Couple more of these before we take a quick break. Which player was the first to make their senior international debut? So which player on stage has made their senior international debut and who did it first? Okay, we're splitting the room now. Okay, this is good. Most people are... It's probably 50-50. What do you think? Maybe more Dylan McGeouch? Okay, probably most people saying Dylan McGeouch, but a few Martin Boyles in there as well. Do you guys know who did it first?
It wasn't me.
I think it might have been me.
It was May 2018, is that correct? The one that you were kind of touched upon earlier?
Yeah, I think Boyle probably not far after when we found out he could play for Australia, but...
I actually think I was getting called up for that, but I'd done my hammy by the end of the season, so I couldn't. Chris Cadden got a call up.
He did. There was a few, because you were here at the time. I don't think Cads was here, but there was a few. Lewis Stevenson as well made his debut at that camp.
Paul Hanlon, maybe? No? Was Paul not?
He was maybe around that time as well. I think there was 3 people in total. McGinn was obviously playing, as you mentioned before. How proud a moment was that to make your international debut and to do it whilst here at Hibs as well?
Yeah, but it's not great when you're having to wear that mask. And that's the only photos I've got. Yeah, obviously, personally, it's one of the proudest moments in my career. You grow up and obviously you want to play for your team you support and stuff like that, but to represent your country is a different matter. And yeah, I was delighted that I could go do that, and my family and stuff like that were absolutely buzzing. And yeah, you obviously, when you're playing, and obviously I came here in the championship and stuff like that, and you just want to play well for yourself, and you don't really see yourself in that kind of setup, and then you kind of you get some games and momentum, and the club's doing well, and then you start getting spoke about in the press and stuff, and you think, oh, this could be a possibility here. And me and John were doing really well at the time, and as I said before, McGeouch came, watched that game, and I think the two has done really well that night. And a few days later, sitting in the car, and it came on the radio, the names that it was getting read out. That's when I first known about it.
So you didn't get told? Did
No,
you get a call
well,
from?
I kind of, there's no smoke without fire, really. Do you know what I mean? And you knew that they were there watching and stuff like that with agents, and there's been little whispers potentially getting called up and stuff. So I knew I was waiting for it. Do you know what I mean? I had the radio and I was waiting for it, but when it came out and stuff like that, and then my mum and dad phoning me, because I was staying through in Edinburgh at this time, and phoning me and stuff like that, and it was quite emotional actually. But yeah, a few weeks before that, against Celtic out here, I ran into the back of a Tom Rogic and fractured my cheekbone. So I had to get this mask made up, and then went over to Mexico and Peru, playing in the altitude with that mask that I could hardly breathe, to be honest. It was a nightmare. So yeah, it was a lot of great memories again, and definitely one of my highlights in my career.
Who wore the mask better, yourself or Nicky Carden?
His is more like a Batman kind of style, isn't it?
The masks that they've developed over time.
Yeah. Mine wasn't great, and Jesus Christ, I don't think it fit me either. I think it was somebody else's I've got on. But I had a few weeks out. The specialist said, "Listen, we'll make the mask up, but give yourself a few weeks to give yourself the best chance to let it heal. Because if you get another whack, you probably need reconstruction in your face and stuff." So we left it a few weeks, and then I was on the bench first time against Aberdeen away, and I think we were 1 each or something, and I went on the last 15, 20 minutes, and obviously the first 30 seconds, the ball drops. I went to close it down. I think it was shinny or something. Just hooked it on and smashed me straight in the face. Couldn't write it. Eyes all over the place because it smashed my nose, and yeah, I got through that. But yeah, it was a weird time, but obviously it was great times as well.
Yeah, worth it to make your Scotland debut for sure. Boyle, you weren't far after that. November 2018 against South Korea. What was that like? Because you mentioned before, and Dylan, you mentioned it there was speculation that you could have been called up to play for Scotland as well.
There was, yeah. Obviously, with the Australian players that we had, and Jamie McLaren and Mark Milligan, the Australian manager came along to training, and I think obviously Neil Lennon was kind of boosting it. Obviously, I was playing quite well at the time, which was luckily enough, and he invited me along at a training camp in Dubai. I was like, oh, can I have a bit of that?
Free holiday?
Absolutely. But no. Obviously, we had a long conversation. My dad was buzzing in that, and then I still remember it. By the time I got back to my phone 10 minutes later, Alex McGeouch had phoned me, and I was pacing about the dressing room, absolutely mad, speaking to Paul Hanlon and Steve-O. Took me about 4 hours to reply back to him, just saying that I've accepted to go along, and he just said keep working hard and stuff. Obviously, the position that Scotland were in with, say, James Forrest at the time, Ryan Fraser, it was strong opposition. Probably didn't believe myself that I could have competed at that level. But yeah, obviously I had already accepted to go along, and I haven't looked back since. I've absolutely loved it and thoroughly enjoyed my time.
Yeah, I mean, you've achieved some incredible things with the Socceroos, qualifying for the 2022 World Cup. I remember you talking to us in a previous interview about that journey and the celebrations after that. And then it's been a roller coaster internationally in terms of Qatar as well, picking up that injury just before. How difficult was that to be in Qatar but not be playing?
Yeah, it was very tough. Probably the toughest moment I've ever had in my career, if I'm honest with you. Still hurts me to this day. I mean, as a little boy, you probably dream of playing at a World Cup, and obviously that was just a game away from doing that. I gave my all. I knew I'd done damage to my knee, but I think I had about 12 injections, tried a lot of things, numbed it, strapped it up, just tried to get through it, and it just wasn't to be. Very grateful for the opportunity to obviously go there and help the team, and obviously in any way that I am. Obviously the character I find myself, that I can help the team and just have a laugh, which is good. So it was obviously perfect, but I think I can, as I'm getting older a bit now, and I can look back and say that I helped them part of the journey to qualify. I played a big part, which is good for me, and obviously the family that was still there supporting. But yeah, it just wasn't to be. But thankfully, I managed to find a bit of form, and I've continued. I've managed to find my way back in, and it's only a year away. So fingers crossed we can qualify in June, and you never know, I might still get my moment.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely. It was vibes manager. Was that not the term that you gave yourself, vibes manager for Qatar or whatever?
They gave me it. Kind of stuck. Obviously, I don't know if anyone's done their ACL in here, but it's hell. It's bad. Not even just my ACL. I had my full knee reconstructed, which is pretty much everything in my knee. I still remember getting told it'll just be a little clean-up, it'll be 20 minutes, do I want to stay awake in the surgery? And I was like, nah, get me to sleep. Give me the morphine and that. And I remember Lee Johnson at the time phoning me. I think it would have been a 4-week injury, and he was like, do you manage Rangers? And I was like, oh yeah, I'll be there. Obviously, 4 hours later, I woke up, and there was 4 doctors around me, and I went, this ain't good. Yeah, my knee was fully reconstructed, and that was it. Kind of didn't sink in because I was probably off my morphine pills, and I woke up and I missed the France game. My family were flying over, which was a bit devastated. But look, you'll see photos of me. I mean, that's probably the greatest highlight of my career. I can't tell you how much I love him and I idolise him. And
when did he ask you for the photo?
He was actually doing doping. So I don't know. You know what doping is? You get put in an office and you're kind of segregated away, but there was that many people about. He had to come out and see us. I've never seen anything like it in my life, just the order that he's got. I mean, obviously, they went on to win it, which was perfect, and obviously a part of me wanted Australia to qualify, but seeing that man lift it was it's just as good. But yeah, just the stature of the players that they had, and I think Di Maria's and Enzo Fernandez and all that walking around, and no one was caring. They could just walk around. But when he walked around, there was like 1,000 people around him. It was incredible. I'm absolutely sweating there. He didn't speak any English. He asked his translator what I'd done, and I think I was just saying I love you, and I was just sweating up. I swear I've never been like that ever, apart from being on this stage. But yeah, absolutely incredible. Yeah, he's obviously the goat in my eyes.
Yeah, and yeah, great memories for you. Jack, the way you're playing, the goals you're scoring, an international call-up must be around the corner soon. If you've played under 17s for Australia, but also eligible for Scotland as well.
Yeah, I think Scotland are pretty covered in form of left-backs, though. So at heart, I feel Australian. I managed to represent the country at under 17 level, like you said, and since then, I've been desperate to get back in. I've got Agent Boyle on the case for me, trying to... But, no, I know I'm in a good place, and when there's other boys getting called up, that means they're watching. So I'm at the right club for it, and I'm enjoying my football. So hopefully I can get a chance in June, but if not, I'll just keep doing what I'm doing. Yeah,
does the fact that you've got, like, Boiler there, Nectar got his first call-up this just a month ago or so, Millsy's obviously kind of almost well established in that team now. Does that kind of give you confidence that you could get a chance?
Yeah, it does, but I think it made it a lot worse when I was the only one that was left here at the last camp. I think that was a bit tough to take, but Like I said, I know they're watching because these three are getting called up, and I know that the manager's been in the crowd a couple of times in the lead up to the last camp. So, like I said, just keep doing what I'm doing, enjoying my football, and if it's meant to be, it'll be.
Yeah, definitely. Good attitude. Well said. Right. Okay, last one before we take a short break. Who has played more games? Sorry, Jack, you're left out of this one. Who's played more games en route to the 2016 Scottish Cup finals? So final included Martin Boyle or Dylan McGeouch?
What overall?
So who's featured in more games in the lead up to the 2016 Scottish Cup final? In the Cup? Most people are saying McGeouch. Pretty much everyone is saying McGeouch. A couple of Martin Boyles over there. Okay, right, so McGeouch is the general consensus. Do you guys know how many you played in the run-up?
Definitely Dylan.
It's closer than you think.
As
thought it
in
was quite
minutes
close.
wise.
Not minutes, just featured in the number of games.
I might have
would
nicked it.
too.
I think I might have nicked it, but it would have been close.
So, Boiler, you played in 3 games. You featured against Wraith, the 2 minutes you mentioned against Hearts, and also...
Hey, they all count.
Yeah, they all do,
We
they all
take
do.
them.
And also Dundee United in the semi-finals, and you played a big role in that game as well. What do you remember from that?
Know that anyway. Jesus. Yeah, I remember speaking on the documentary about this. I definitely meant to go bottom left, and I've shanked it. I think, as you can see, I've shanked it. I think the Celtic Rangers game was after us, and you can obviously see when Roderick missed his penalty, the grass bobbled up. Mm-hmm. So I think that's happened, and I've got lucky. But yeah, I've definitely not meant that. But great feeling. Obviously, special moment. And obviously played a part to going on to win that.
So you were trying to hit it bottom left, and you've hit it top left, top middle.
Oh, I've just absolutely shanked it, yeah. I think I do that a lot with my penalties. You have no idea where I'm going, but somehow they seem to be going in most of the time. But like I say, it was a special feeling. Obviously, we progressed, and the rest was history.
You've scored 17 penalties for Hibs. Where does that one rank in terms of the amount of pressure and how much you wanted to score? And I know you want to score every pen, but in terms of pressure, where does that one rank?
I've not really thought about it because it's a pen shootout, so I don't really count them. Is that doesn't really count on your stats, does it?
It doesn't count in my stats.
Yeah, so
but
I've not
still,
really
it's still a
included it,
pressure
but
penalty.
In terms of importance, I think Conrad had already saved 2, so obviously the pressure was building up. But yeah, it was definitely a pressure moment. Obviously, I scored one at Hampden against Rangers, probably a lot more support there. But in terms of magnitude of what we went on to achieve, it turns out it was pretty important, yeah.
Pretty important. Dylan, so Boyle played 3 games. Dylan, you played 4 games. Wraith, so you both played in that one together. Hearts away, Inverness, and then obviously the final against Rangers. How special was that cup run to be a part of?
Yeah, obviously, when the DVD and that came out and you watch it back, and because you forget about all the kind of early stages, don't you, really, until it gets to the serious stuff, kind of like semi-finals and stuff like that. Obviously, the Hearts game was huge, when Paul scored the equaliser to get it back here, and then we wiped him away. But I came off that game, the Hearts game, I think at 2-1 or something, and then obviously we pulled it back. And I always remember me and Leanne Dempster in this little... It was the old school Tynecastle. It didn't have that new stand. It was a little room, like a kind of referee room with a monitor. And we were watching it, and Paul scores, man. And Leanne's, she was quiet and reserved and stuff. Kind of sometimes the conversation kind of dried up a few times. Do you know what I mean? But when that goal went in, it was like hugging each other, jumping about mad. And I think after it, I was a bit oh no, it's a bit awkward. But do you know what I mean? You're jumping about with your mate, and then it's oh, back to being awkward again, yeah. But yeah, great times, and I said we go on, and just watching the Dundee United game there, I missed that game, but I always remember, I think that was Conrad's first game. Mm-hmm. I think it was, and I always remember the reaction when he ran out. I don't know if any of you remember this, but when the teams ran out for the kickoff, it was like a noise, like a laughing noise. Like, honestly, like, he was a great guy, really good. He was brilliant for us. But obviously, to say he was a big guy, do you know what I mean, was an understatement. And when he ran out, there was this kind of laughing noise. But and then you see what he done in the semis and even the final and stuff like that. He's incredible. And a big part to do with how we won that cup that year. But it was a great run, and again, privileged to be part of it and go on and won it eventually.
Yeah, I mean, Conrad Logan played a massive part. He only played 8 games for Hibs, but he was obviously made a massive impact. In terms of the final then itself, because we're looking at your kind of career and the games that you played for Hibs, particularly that season, it was very much in and out of the team because of your injuries and stuff like that. But you found yourself playing in the final. What was that like to be a part of?
Yeah, I struggled that year and a half maybe, with a lot of kind of niggly injuries. And it was frustrating. But I think I kind of tweaked my groin like 2 weeks before that against Falkirk. And we conceded in the last minute to put us out the playoffs, which was hugely disappointing. And then the week later, we missed. So a few weeks to go by the end of the season, we were looking at a treble, really. Like, we were going for the league and the championship. We were in the other cup final, and then obviously the Scottish Cup final. So you're thinking, like, potentially we could win the full three here. Like, it was in our hands, really. I think it was Ross County that beat us in the final the week after, which we the 2 finals, you'd think that was the one that was probably guaranteed. So, yeah, disappointed to miss them 2 games, but the week leading up to the final, I'd done everything I could to get myself back fit. I think I trained the Friday, it was my first day back, which was a light session. Do you know what I mean? I couldn't really test it or anything. Mm-hmm. And then the Saturday morning, in the hotel, Big Stubbsy pulled me in the morning, like 5 minutes before we left, and he says, like, how is it? And I was honest. I said, well, it feels okay now, but I could pull up in the warm-up, I could pull up 5 minutes in, or I could play 120 minutes. I don't know. I've not tested it enough this week or anything, so I'll leave it with you, kind of thing. Like, I feel okay, but it's up to you. I don't want to let the team down and having to come off, all this kind of stuff, so you can make the decision, and it's probably the best decision that for me that he ever made for me, was starting me. 5 minutes later, we went to the meeting and he announces the team. I was nervous. I remember speaking to Kevin Thompson at the time, and he was the one that was being left out, which must have been hard for him, being a massive Hibs fan and that growing up. So, but he was great. Again, part of that dressing room where the experience comes in and kind of calm me down a little bit and just go play your own game. Do you know what I mean? Forget about your kind of niggly injury for the last 2 weeks. Just go play, and what will be. So, always grateful for him for that. And Big Stubbsy sticking by me and managed to get through the full 90. When we went 2 each, I thought, I don't think I've got another half an hour in me, to be honest. So, thankfully, the saviour popped up with a goal and put me at my misery. Yeah, it was definitely fine for the next 3 days after that as well. All the alcohol and the dancing about George Street. Yeah, it held up, and I'm thankful for it. Yeah.
Let's talk about the next 3 days then. From when the ball went into the back of the net. How were the celebrations after? What do you remember from it? I'll start with you, Barley.
Yeah, not much. Still comes up my timeline now and again. Me lying on George Street on a Monday night. Good times though. To this day, I still remember. I think it was like Tuesday or something, and Jason Cummins was like FaceTime me, and he's telling me to get out of my bed to get back on it. But I had to go see family after that 3 days, and I think he woke up in like a skip somewhere. I swear, he still had the tiger in his head, and he was in a skip. It was mental. He's putting photos in the group. He's just in a skip somewhere. I have no idea what he was doing, how he woke up there, but he thoroughly enjoyed himself. But I think the celebration alone, I don't think, certainly as players, we didn't expect that to happen with that bus parade. Obviously, because it hadn't happened for that amount of time, and we didn't know what to expect, and we were all showing up drips and drabs steaming anyway. So, thankfully, we all managed to make it, and it's probably the best, scenes and celebrations I've ever seen in my life.
Would you agree with that, Dylan? In terms of, is it the bus parade that's the kind of the main thing that stands out?
Yeah, by far. I think, obviously, being from Glasgow and stuff, and growing up a Celtic fan, winning things was kind of the norm. Do you know what I mean? You celebrate, but it's not everything. But then you come here and obviously everyone speaks about it, about the Scottish Cup and how many years, all this kind of thing. And you know it's a big deal, but until that final whistle with the fans on the pitch, and then I was speaking about downstairs, one of the guys, it was obviously everyone's heading back towards Edinburgh on the M8, and it was at a standstill and they had the police escort right through the middle lane, so they had to like put everyone onto the hard shoulder because it was standstill and they had to get us through. So we're driving through and everyone's all at the cars waving the flags and their tops, and honestly it's something like a movie. It was incredible. And then we had a big function here, and obviously the Sunday with the parade, when you come down the top of Leaf and you see the pictures and stuff like that, it gives you goosebumps, like the amount of people that turned up. And I think for me, like over the years, just picking up different stories from different people, and every person you speak to has got their own little story about that kind of 3 days or whatever, what it meant to them, about obviously I was speaking to this guy downstairs and he was saying about his dad who's passed, never got to see it. So he was thankful that he was there with his son and all this kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean? So I think everyone's got their own little story, and then for me and being part of it, for us to manage to do that for people, it stands out. Obviously football's important, but everyone remembers exactly what they did that weekend, and got memories as a family and friends and everything. Yeah, so
yeah,
it was
definitely.
massive.
I feel we could sit and talk about it and hear about everyone's stories in the room from that day. Okay, that's enough from me. It's time to get some of the questions from our audience here tonight. So I'll just go through these. Where should we start? There's plenty in here. Okay, this doesn't have a name on it, but it's for Jack. Jack, what did you think of Declan Rice copying your celebration last night?
I did see that. He must have been watching the derby. Yeah.
It's prime time on Sky.
Yeah. I mean, if you score a goal like that, you have to celebrate by standing on top of the board. That's how it's going. So
makes sense. This is from Murray Knight. I think it's at Boyle and Dylan McGeouch, asking for a friend. Do you have the contact details for the guy who fixed your hair?
I think my one's about out of date. You'll need to ask Dale.
Well, to be fair, I may as well plug it in, but I think I'll go back in the summer and get mine done again. So if we want to go together, we maybe get a 2-for-1. Whoever it is.
Well, Murray
What
Knight's
about a 3-for-1?
Murray Knight's over there. I think he's waving there. There he is.
I'll get his number after. Yeah.
Okay, it's not football related, but from Peter Sutherland. What is, and probably for all three of you, what is your death row meal? Random question, but I don't mind it. Who wants to go in?
I think mine's would be a Chinese takeaway.
Aye?
Yeah, just my local takeaway.
Honking.
What was yours?
Oh, Chinese. Big steak or something.
Nah, I like Nando's, to be fair. I like a Nando's, but nah, I'd keep it simple. Honestly, I'd keep it simple. Salt and chili chips and chicken curry, and keep it.
I'll take one of them.
Right, okay, we've got steak, we've got Nando's, Chinese. Jack, what are you having?
I'll probably start with some calamari. I'll go calamari, and then I think for the main, I'd have a roast, and then I'd have banoffee pie for dessert.
You clearly thought about it going all three courses.
This was a big discussion topic in the car school with the Caddens and Josh Campbell. That was my first day I was getting in the car school. I was in the car for about 5 seconds, and that was the first thing they asked me. So,
What, your death row meal?
didn't ask me how I was or anything. I just sat down. They just said death row meal now. So
Okay. Right, this is from Niamh McLean, sitting in the back row. Probably for all three of you. How do you prepare mentally and physically before an important game? Do you guys do anything differently, or how do you prepare? Could be for all three of you.
I'm very superstitious.
You are?
I've got everyone believing that for years now. Like, it's extreme.
he won't let anyone sit in a different seat in the team meetings on this run. Everyone has to be in the exact same seat that we were from 16 games ago now.
Until we get beat, I change it. But it's been the exact same since this run. A couple of years ago, I had an avocado. I went to Aldi, I brought it. Stick with me. Knows why I was buying avocados, but I had it. I'd scored. I dropped on the floor before I cut open, and Doidgy picked it up, and I went, mate, you're going to score today. So obviously he did. And he went on a mad run after that. So every game I had to stop at Aldi, go in, pick up an avocado, starts feeling it in that. It had to be like perfectly soft and ripe. And there was a time I forgot, and he was actually phoning me, and we had to get someone from the stadium to go to Aldi, get this avocado. He was FaceTiming and that just to make sure it was like the perfect consistency. And it turns out he scored that game, but then it slowly fizzled out for the big man.
I mean, I didn't expect you to come up with that. I thought you were going to maybe say something like, oh, yeah, I listened to the song before the game. But, I mean, each to their own.
Funnily enough, obviously when we were honking at the start of the season, I was playing music. Probably because I was playing mad DJ songs. And then we went on a spell where people were wanting me off it. So I suggested Rocky go on it. So all he plays is just mad French music. Mm-hmm. Don't know the words. And we've played it for the longest time ever. But the gaffer's actually like, get the French tunes and that on. It's superstitious. I'll play it. And he just throws in a mad Eminem song now and again just to keep the boys happy. But then he goes just mad French again.
Well, it seems to be working. It seems to be working.
It's working. He better not stop.
Dylan, Jack, anything that you guys do in particular to prepare for, say, it was a derby or a massive game?
I think mine could be a little bit different to most guys.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I'm type 1 diabetic, so I basically eat the same thing at the night before in the lead up to the whole game, because at this stage, I know what it does to my sugar levels.
Uh-huh.
And for me to perform where I want to, I need to make sure that they're in range. So I basically got it down to science now, where I know if I eat this and I do this amount of insulin with it, I should be okay. So in terms of diet, I eat the same thing basically at the same time just to make sure that I'm all right. And then on game day, always put my left thing on before my right. So my left sock goes on, my left shin pad goes on, then my right sock, my right shin pad, and then left boot, right boot.
Right, okay. I feel that's quite a popular one among.
That's what I was just about to say, yeah. I'm the
Uh-huh.
exact same. I put my left on before my right. The whole system, right up to my boots, yeah.
And is that something that you guys have done from like boys club level, or?
16 games ago it started.
Superstitious, eh?
Okay, good stuff. Okay, right. Got another one here. This is at you, Dylan. Your relationship with Neil Lennon, how would you describe it?
Say what you were saying upstairs.
There was definitely a love-hate relationship with us when we were working together. I think, obviously, the last few years I've not played under him or anything. So, but yeah, when he was my manager and stuff, he was tough on us. Do you know what I mean? And Martin will back us up. Like, he was really tough. Even more so when we were doing well, he was really harsh with us. And but now I look back and I'm a little bit older. I kind of know why he was doing it. Yeah. At the time, I kind of took it personally and took the huff sometimes and argued back with him and all this kind of stuff. But now I'm a bit older and doing a bit of coaching myself, like I know why he's doing it. Do you know what I mean? He was keeping us grounded and keeping us working hard and not getting carried away, because you can see it happening to a lot of kind of players. So yeah, a few funny stories, given half time and full time, and yeah, just some funny times. But he's obviously, we were laughing upstairs, he's went back into Dunfermline, and I seen a picture of him the other day and he's putting water bottles again at the side of the dugout and stuff, and I thought it's good to have him back in Scottish football.
Yeah. Because your relationship with him kind of went way back, because in your youth career you were at Rangers and Celtic and Rangers, and was there not a story about when he came to your house to try and get you back to come to Celtic?
Yeah. I was speaking about this a few weeks back. So yeah, he's obviously grown up. He was the captain of Celtic and stuff like that, and then long story, I went to Rangers as a youth player, and then he got the Celtic job and he watched a few games and wanted to sign me, so he came to my house to convince my mum and dad, really, like, to kind of let me come to Celtic and stuff. And after everything we've been chatting about and stuff, that it kind of calmed down a little bit. A few of my cousins come down for a few pictures and stuff, and then next minute my dad's out the back, let the dog in, and we're saying to him, what do you think the dog's name is? And it was Lenny. It was this big ginger, like, it was. I'll get a picture and I'll put it up on Instagram or something. But it's, it was American Bulldog, and it was like a kind of gingery colour. It was honestly like just like Lennon, like as a midfielder, like spitting image. We called it Lenny. But yeah, obviously he signed me at Celtic and gave me my debut and stuff like that. So I always have that love for him. Even more so now that I'm getting a bit older, that I appreciate that what he done. He was a real motivator, and he gave me the opportunity to go do well in my career.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. A couple more of these just to get through. Which player would you have, this is for all three of you, which player would you have on the team sheet if you're playing in an Edinburgh Derby? So one player that you would be like, I absolutely need to have them on the team sheet. Who would you choose based on players that you've played with? Who would like to go first?
Jack Iredale, his record.
Yeah, it's a good answer. Dylan?
I think John McGinn probably. I think he obviously a top player, but he loved that kind of combat, the occasions, getting stuck in. Do you know what I mean? And he set the tempo a lot of the times. It used to annoy me a lot of times though as well, when just from the kick-off he would just like turn and just start running at the back four or whatever it was, or the midfield, and a lot of times he would lose the ball straight away. But I think he just wanted to kind of start on the front foot, just charging into people, like running through people. So yeah, I'd probably say McGinn, to be fair.
Two strong answers so far, Iredale and McGinn. Who'd you go for?
I've probably got two. I don't want to give him a big head, but I'd probably have Martin in the team just because of what he can do with his pace and the form he's in now. And and obviously he's played in the fixture so many times that he doesn't let it get to him, and he knows what to do. And the other one I'd probably say at the minute is I'd have Big Rocky beside me.
Yeah. How helpful has Rocky been for you since you came into the team?
He bails me out the all the time, honestly. I think now he's starting to get the credit he deserves. I don't know if he had a bit of a tough time at the start, but the attributes that he has physically are incredible. But also just the guy he is. You know, he's one of the best guys I've ever met, and he's someone that you can rely on all the time. And you know, I'm really enjoying playing beside Rocky. So I'd say Boyle and Rocky.
Yeah. Nice one. Okay. Right. Two more of these before we finish. Who was the toughest opponent that you've ever played against in your careers? Is there anyone in particular that stands out in all your careers so far?
We played Newcastle in the FA Cup a couple of years ago, and it was Eddie Howe's first game straight after the takeover at home, so it was packed, 52,000. And they went full strength, and I was one-on-one with St. Maximin. Me. He twisted me into a pretzel. I don't know how we managed to win. We won 1-0, but he was from a different planet in terms of how fast and skillful he was. So I'd probably say 1v1, up against him.
Yeah. Dylan, Martin?
I'm going to throw a Jeremy Frimpong out there when he was at Celtic. I thought I was pretty speedy, not bad, but he took it to a new level. I think there was a game at Hampden we played. We got beat 4-2 off Celtic, or 5-2. And he was just flying up and down that game, and obviously deserves the credit for what he's achieved at Leverkusen, and obviously all the top teams want to sign him. But I think in terms of a right wing back, he's everything you could probably ask for.
But in terms of your international career as well, you've played against some massive names and players and stuff like that.
I have, yeah. I didn't want to throw like attackers out there because it probably doesn't really benefit me.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think if we're speaking about attackers, I think we played Mould years ago, and Haaland played. And I think he was just 17 or something. And I swear I've never seen anyone built like it. He's just exactly what he is now. And you know, it takes a lot to throw Ryan Porteous around and stuff like that. And I knew this guy was hard as when he was doing knee slides on Astro. He was mad. Obviously, he was tipped for a £10 million move to Salzburg in the first leg. So thank we played the second leg.
And Dylan, who's the kind of toughest opponent that you played against?
Yeah, I think we played a pre-season friendly back in like 2012 or something at Celtic in Philadelphia against Real Madrid, and yeah, there was like incredible team they put out. I think I played as like kind of on the wing when I was at Celtic when I was younger, and Ronaldo was on the left, so like directly up against them. Like, well, I didn't really attack much. It was just like me and Adam Matthews just kind of like doubling up on each other, like. But yeah, they had like Kaká, Alonso, like all the big guns. You know what I mean? So when I think of like the best players I've played against, it's probably them. But domestically, probably I'd say Callum McGregor, Scott Brown, maybe. The time I was at Hibs, they two were obviously Celtic midfield, and Cham as well, to be fair, which never really kicked on to what he could achieve, but he was a top player. But yeah, Callum and Bruni were tough opponents.
A lot of people often say Scott Brown or McGregor as well. We had Scott Brown on the Hibee Buzz, and the first time we did it a few months ago, everyone always says the same thing about Bruni. Like, he's your best mate off the pitch and stuff like that. I know you guys are quite close, but when you're playing against him, it's just a totally different ballgame.
Yeah, it's brutal. It's brutal because he's the best guy ever. Like, even I went up to Aberdeen, they came up there as a player coach as well, and spent a lot of time with him off the pitch with families and stuff up there. Like, he's the best guy, but as soon as it gets to game day, it's like he does not want to know you, won't look at you, won't even speak to you, nothing. Like, literally just standing on your toes and stuff like that, and like, it's just, yeah, the way he is, he just switches it on. But obviously that's how he's had the career he's had. He'll probably admit that on ability he probably wouldn't have got to where he's been, but the attitude and everything he brings with it, that's why he's achieved what he's achieved in football, and he's a top guy as well.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, last one before we go on to our final question. I know I've said that about a million times. This one is regarding Saturday. Jordan Abita's pass to Martin Boyle, was it meant or was it scaff?
If you's honestly think that's meant, it has blown my mind. He is the most left-footed guy I've ever seen in my life. It's an unbelievable pass. You can see what he's trying to do. Put it in the air, down the corner, but he shanked it. I let him know I'm honest. Great
Maybe too honest.
I've had a few passes in my time for Scott Island and that, but that's up there with the most flukiest best thing I've ever seen.
Jack?
I was stood beside him, and in all fairness, it was meant for Boyle, just not a zinger through. He was meant to just launch it over the top, because you see he's peeled all the way off, and I'm looking at Jordan thinking, you're left-footed, why the f*** are you trying to ping a right foot 70-yard diag? The confidence on that guy is insane, but thankfully he wasn't offside and he managed to get through, yeah.
And it worked, definitely.
He's nearly took someone's head off with it. I've seen someone duck. But, yeah, fair play. Great ball. Goes down as a start, does it? It's an assist.
It does, yeah. And a great goal as well. Okay, this is the one that we're finally going to finish on. The club turns 150 next year. All three of you have played a part in the history of the club in one way or another. What makes Hibs so special to you? Jack, I'll start with you.
It probably goes hand in hand with the results, but just this is the best connection I've ever seen a team have with its club and its fans. Obviously, everything's really, really good when you're winning games, but I mean, you've got to enjoy it when you are winning. So I'd just say, like, you can see how much this means to the fans, and I think the fans can see how much it means to us as a group, what we're doing. So I'm really enjoying playing, and I think that's one thing that stood out for me, was just the connection between the two.
Yeah, nice one. Well said, Jack. Dylan, what makes Hibs so special to you? Touched on it a little bit earlier, but why is this club so special for you?
Yeah, I touched on it a wee bit earlier, but it's just, as Jack said, it's the connection. A lot of time it's not through choice, it's actually what you know when you're born. Do you know what I mean? And as soon as, obviously, the fans have kids and stuff like that, the Hibees right away, do you know what I mean? And it's a lifestyle, and you can really feel that through the club. And obviously when things are going great, there's not a better club to be at. I was fortunate enough to have a good few years here and achieve good things, and as I said, the players connect with the fans and the club, and it's one big family. And anytime I'm even close to Edinburgh or meeting anyone from Edinburgh, they're always great with me and stuff like that. So yeah, always special place for me, and to come back, it's really special as well. So I'm forever thankful for it.
Yeah, definitely, and it's great to have you back here again tonight, Dylan. And Boyle, I'll let you finish. 365 appearances so far, I think it is. How nearly 10 years at the club as well. How special is this place for you?
Really special. Obviously the same as what the lads are saying. I think in terms of my time being here, the connection is brilliant. I think as an older, experienced player, I kind of took it for granted when I was first year, but I think as new players are coming in and developing, and as older head, you let them know what this means to people. Obviously, they're everything at the city, everything that is with Hibernian, the love, the passion they've got for the club, and obviously rightfully so at the start of the season, they let you know when you're not performing, and I think you can see as a squad now how much we're giving back, and obviously nights like this wouldn't happen if we're getting results, and it's obviously a pleasure to have nights like this where you can let your hair down, enjoy yourself, have a bit of fun.
What hell?
Cheeky shut up. But yeah, obviously me being here a long time, family love the club. My wife's the captain of the Hibs ladies. My daughters love the club. It just runs through my veins now. And like you say, the passion I have for the place, and I can't thank the support that I've had over the years. Obviously, I know could have been more appearances, injury, but obviously when I've went through the hard times, they've been there to call me back out of it, and I'm just really glad at the moment I can, give a lot back to the club, and it's definitely a club that I'll support for the rest of my life, and hopefully there's many years to come.
Legend, very well said, Martin Boyle. And certainly a fitting way to finish. Dylan, Jack Boyle, thank you so much for your time this evening. Give it up for our three guests, everybody. Okay, I'm afraid that is all that we've got time for this evening. Special thanks for everyone who came along tonight. Sold out night tonight. It was great to hear it from all three, and thank you all for supporting the Hibee Buzz Live this season. We'll be back next season, so make sure you join us then. Thank you, and have a great night.